The words we use have a very strong influence on the way we think, and the way we think dictates our destiny, which is basically our actions. My name's Kunal, and if you're new to this channel, let me tell you on my channel, I talk about the importance of words and their influence on our thoughts, which consequently affects our actions. This is probably my first video on a series I plan to make called There Isn't Two, There's One. It's inspired from the Indian philosophy of Vedant, of Advait Vedant, which at its core is basically trying to tell us that existence in and of itself is undivided and is one, and what appears as many to us is often a cause of lack of understanding. And to make things simple, I will try and illustrate this through examples. You may have been updated with, um, let's say, geopolitics. So you may have heard of the protests in Iran where women were protesting against wearing the hijab. And you must have seen certain protests in France where women were fighting for the right to wear the hijab. Now, when we talk about the philosophy of there isn't two, there is one, and what appears as many is essentially one, is this example that I'm trying to illustrate. Now, if you just look at the surface of these events, it does look like two people are fighting for two different things. In France, you see the woman fighting for her right to wear the hijab, and Iran, you see a woman against the obligation of wearing the hijab. So, if you don't understand things clearly, you may understand or interpret this situation as two different people with two different desires. But again, as I said, the core philosophy of Advait Vedant is that there isn't two, there is just one. So, where is the one here where we see two? Well, I'll tell you where the one is. The one is in this basic human desire of not being dominated by someone else and having the liberty of making your own informed choice. When someone tries to rob that right from you of making your own informed choice, that's when you feel that your freedom is being encumbered. Please keep in mind here, in this video, I'm not talking about the appropriateness of either situations. I am not commenting on what is right or wrong that is happening in either of these two countries. I'm trying to basically show you that what appears to you as two distinct desires of two distinctly different people, culturally and nationally, is essentially the same. It's basically the basic human desire to not be dominated by someone and to have the option to make your own informed choice. Now, I will give you another example, which is the desires we have throughout our life. At the stage of infancy, the desire is to be around the mother, have some nurturing and affection, and some bodily warmth, right? That's why mothers are always hugging their infants, or the fathers are always hugging their infants. When you transition to pre-adolescence, you may like toys. When you transition to adolescence, something changes and you want something else. When you become a student, you want the degree. When you get the corporate job, you want the promotion. Then soon you want to be married, soon you want to have kids, soon you want to have a house, soon you want to retire. So these desires throughout your life are different, but if you were to understand the principle, again, there isn't many, there is just one. The basis of all that is the belief that something needs to be added to ensure that life is complete. So the student believes that the degree needs to be acquired in order to successfully see himself at the next stage in life, which is basically the understanding that okay, something more needs to be done. So although the infant, the pre-adolescent, and the student and the middle-aged man, they all desire different things, but desire in and of itself is one. This is one other example. Another example I'd like to give to you, sorry, another example I'd like to share with you is that of misunderstanding people as good and bad people. So let's say you you got a call from the hospital, and the nurse said that your wife just delivered a baby. At that point in time, you'd be quite overjoyed. And let's say you got up from the table and a waiter spilled tea on your shirt. You might be a bit annoyed, but you may ignore that because now your mind is focusing on getting to the hospital where you can go and meet your child. Now, the same scenario, you just got fired, and you just got notice that you're going to be divorced the very same day. Your wife has served you divorce papers, and then you get up and the waiter spills tea on your shirt. How is that going to feel? It's going to feel like the last straw that broke the camel's back, and chances are you'd want to give that person a piece of your mind. Now, where is the one in the many? Okay, so the many might say that on one day you were this person, on another day you were that person, right? The one is in understanding that who you were was a result of the mood you were in. When you got the news of the delivery of your child, you were overjoyed, and your behavior towards the waiter was different. When you got the news that you were fired and you were served divorce papers on the same day, your mood towards the waiter was different. So, if we see this scenario from the waiter's perspective, in the first scenario, the waiter might feel that you're a very good person, right? And he may think of you as someone very patient, calm, and forbearing. So he'll believe that you are a good person. What he has failed to see is that it was the mood that you were in that influenced your state of being in the first scenario. In the second scenario, the waiter may believe that you are a very rude and impatient person who is very unkind and harsh. Now, again, what the waiter fails to see in this scenario is the results that led up to that kind of behavior. So, although you do rely on your senses to survive, your senses still do not tell you the entire story of what comes into your mind and how you're interpreting it. So basically, the understanding of Advaita Vedanta or non duality is not some hocus pocus magic. It is understanding the limitation of the senses to see that their reality is not truth as it is. Although they serve a function and a purpose, they must never be taken to be the entire truth, because history itself shows how limited they are. I hope the examples I have shown you in this video help you understand this concept better and give you the ability to integrate this in your life.